By this Daemon Gaming TV, no copyright, free use music. Really nice of them to put this together, and I like the fact that this is Doge-wave. So this is going to be our intro and outro music, just because it's the Doge featured, crypto featured music here. I'm gonna turn it down now. Thank them for the music. All right, we're gonna bring the fire because yeah, pretty much I told you so. But I don't want to be. I'm really not like that. What's up? Yep. What's up, CTM junkies? You know what this song needs? More Bitcoin. Everything. More, you know what? We need a more cowboys bells, more Bitcoin, for sure. We need a picture. All right. The theme of tonight. is brought to us by CB on our Conquering the Markets. Now, we've got some people now starting to, between Twitter and some other groups that I run in, that are starting to join this live stream, so I'm going to have to spell things out a little bit. But for those in Conquering the Markets, they'll know CB. But he had a post today here, so we were just chatting. I had a whole string of comments, about what my thoughts are on alt season and the main things we should be looking for. And I encapsulated those points as talking points here, but CB poignantly pointed out that, hey, maybe we can look at some lessons that we can learn from Tesla and the reaction of the other EV players, Tesla being king EV, and how the other EVs react. So I took a little screenshot here of his message. I can't make it bigger in this format, sorry. But he says you might be able to draw on Tesla King EV versus the alts, NIO. If human behavior might be similar, look how EVs pump and Tesla consolidates in October. So, I thought that was a really poignant point, and that was a follow-up to a comment that I had made that, let me just make sure the live stream is healthy here. 1 second, I just got some notifications here going live. Okay. Live stream looks healthy, everything looks good. I have the music turned off on the live stream. Good, okay. I'm turning off the music on the live streams because, some people don't want to be listening to, they listen to maybe this 2x or something, they just want to get the analysis they don't care about. And I want them to be able to listen to what they want to listen to. So you guys light up Daemon Gaming TV, the Doge-wave synth mix. That's what I'm listening to while I talk to you guys. So it's quiet, kind of in the background music for me, but I've got it running, so it kind of keeps my pace up too. All right. But yeah, so that's kind of the theme. Now, I called Ethereum the king alt, and I think people are starting to figure out that Bitcoin and Ethereum are two totally different things. Bitcoin, now, in the grand scheme of things, obviously Bitcoin started the revolution, and Bitcoin is the cryptocurrency reserve, the digital reserve asset. It is now the reserve asset for the internet, basically, right? It's the cryptocurrency reserve asset, and it will soon be the ubiquitous reserve asset for the internet, I believe. Now, whether it becomes a global reserve asset, I doubt it, for a lot of reasons. But I think it will be a reserve currency for the internet in the future. And that's a very important distinction. Very distinguished mark that it's achieved, obviously, in its time. However, Ethereum, and what Vitalik did in starting this is my Ethereum BTC chart that we're watching here, in starting the ability to do compute and other more interesting things he opened up the doors to compute capabilities on a decentralized blockchain. And so decentralized compute capabilities are a totally different ball game from the reserve currency. So the best analogy I can give is gold versus Amazon, right? Or gold versus the S&P 500. Ethereum is building, Ethereum allows people to build applications that actually produce something. So think of it as a cash flow producing equity versus a commodity, right? So in general, Saudi Aramco is worth a whole lot of money because they have a lot of oil and they export a lot of oil. But in general, commodities are not as worth as much as cash flow producing equities. So In the long run, that's why my thesis is that Ethereum, if it can maintain its dominance, and it stays the dominant player in this ecosystem, it will have a larger market cap than Bitcoin. That's fire, but that's what I believe will happen over the long term, like we're talking 10 to 20 years. But that hinges on Ethereum maintaining a dominant position and that there even being a dominant player. In the future, there might not be a dominant player in this space. There might be just a sea of competitors in this space, right? We may not have like an Amazon or Tesla's technically not dominant in space; it's growing, but we may not have that same like Apple level dominance. Apple's probably the best analogy. Apple level dominance in its space, we might have, and there might be like an Apple, Microsoft, a handful of major competitors, or we might have a sea of competitors. We might have something that's a much broader. I think that we'll probably have like the equivalent to the Googles, Amazon, Facebook, where they're all these leading tech companies, but they all have their niches that they serve. That's what I think is going to happen. I think Ethereum is going to lead in a lot of things, but I think that these other platforms, Cardano being one of the main ones, will have Polkadot maybe being another one, or Link being another one, will have dominance, place where they're playing. But I think that all of them I just mentioned, my ETH, ADA, and Link, I think all of them have the potential to be larger than Bitcoin in the grand scheme of things. Maybe Link is a bit of a stretch. But the Oracle space, in theory, if somebody really is dominant in that space, they could have more real world use case and grow beyond what Bitcoin is. So, all that said, I measure the alt season on what Ethereum does, because Ethereum is the dominant player. Ethereum and Bitcoin are two totally different things. Right now today, Ethereum, the alts move on what Bitcoin does because the market at large hasn't figured out that they're completely different things, and they're just attached. Right now, they haven't become detached. There will come a time, I think, when cryptocurrency platforms will become somewhat detached from Bitcoin. Never fully, but they'll be thought of as different things at some point because they are different things. But during this cycle, when people when we have all these new incumbents, these new players coming into this space, people are going to learn rapidly about cryptocurrencies than they hadn't before. See, the first major cycle we all were aware of, the 2016-17 cycle, a lot of us learned a lot about cryptocurrencies through that. And I was involved in cryptocurrencies. I was mining, and I wasn't really actively trading, but I was mining, I was playing around with cryptocurrencies, and I had no idea what this was going to become. I had no idea the potential for Bitcoin or Ethereum, right? I just thought it was a fun project. This internet money, I called it, internet money. I'll flip this to green while I'm looking at this. But I didn't know what it was going to become. I learned a lot during the bull market because I had to figure out why is everything going up in value so much? I didn't understand why it was going up so much, right? It didn't make sense to me. And then so I started to learn. The same thing's going to happen, and we're all going to learn. I'm still learning. We're all learning. But people who are just getting this, the first cycle was more like people thought of it as a fluke. Now, when Bitcoin does this again, people are going to go, okay, this is not a fluke. Something is going on. It's going to raise so many more eyebrows. We see institutions have already caught on, right? People are going to learn. And when people learn that, Bitcoin's this reserve currency, it's the original cryptocurrency, it's kind of a reserve asset. And people are going to call it gold 2.0 for forever. You're going to hear that for a long time. And it's not actually 100% accurate, but it's close enough that I think it works, right? So the gold 2.0 thing is going to be talked about for Bitcoin for a long time, but people are going to figure out finally that Ethereum and all these are completely different things. Bitcoin is gold 2.0 and Ethereum is internet of money, right? Or whatever, right? They're going to think of it. They're going to come up with something. They're going to understand that the internet is certainly worth more than gold right now today. Right? So if you ask somebody, do you want control of everything on the internet, or do you want all the gold in the world in a big pile? I would think most people are going to say, I want control of the internet. That means I want control of Google, Amazon, Facebook, everything that goes on the internet. I would rather have control of all that and all the money involved in all that than a pile of gold, right? The same is going to be true of Ethereum or whatever the ecosystem of platforms is that enables this next generation of decentralized digital money versus the asset that it holds. And as people figure that out, money is going to flow into these projects like we've never seen before, because there's now the masses are figuring this out. And Bitcoin will, of course, do its thing because it is the most pristine, way to preserve wealth there is today, period, bar none. And Michael Saylor is a great resource for understanding that. And so is Anthony Pompliano and Robert Breedlove and a bunch of other people. If you want to understand the technical, Antonopoulos. But my thesis still is that when people figure this out, whether it be institutions or otherwise, that money is going to flow into these projects. And so what we're waiting for, what we're watching for, is the hype around Bitcoin to get to a point, and it's the holidays. I think people have been distracted by the holidays, and people aren't reading the headlines and seeing Bitcoin go up and stuff like that because people are waiting until the new year. Wait until the new year, and people get back to the office, get back to reading their news feeds. They're not, inundated with and they start to see this, right? I think as people figure this out, now please, on the comments, let me know if you guys agree or disagree with what I'm kind of flowing with here. But these are my opening remarks. These are my thoughts here about why I'm so keen to watch the interaction with this. Now let's go look at the Bitcoin dominance here. Let's tie this back to some charts and some investing. All right. Now I've had this 70 purple line on here for forever. This is my absolute top line for Bitcoin dominance, and then the 50% has been my bottom, and then 33% has been my So I've had these on here for a long, long time, and I've had this prime trend line on here. And the 66 level I think is a key psychological level, and we broke above that, and we came all the way into the 70%. 70% of the crypto market. 70% of the crypto market is Bitcoin. Now a lot of people expect this to drop. And as we came, I expected it to drop coming in at 66. I was wrong. I took some positions here on a very small trade, and I was wrong. I've reopened those positions up here. So as of this morning, I reopened. That's why these are turned green or blue. I mean, I flipped these blue. I personally re-entered. Actually, as we retook this support here, and then ADA on this support here, and then Link on this support here. All right, so in all three of those, I've re-entered a small leverage position, my initial position on a trade, expecting alt season to start. Now, I do think it will take into early next year to really get going. Again, that thesis I have that people are, once they start learning and seeing what's happening with cryptocurrencies, they're going to start reading and learning. But I think once people understand that Bitcoin is a reserve asset, it is like a digital gold. But Ethereum is a platform like the internet, right? And at the end of the day, the internet is worth a lot more than gold is. I think people are going to figure that out at some point, and you're going to see money coming into these projects. That's what I think is going to happen. Now, it might not be at the time frame that we have to watch the charts. Like I want to be very respectful of what the charts are telling me. But the charts are telling me, and this is the one I tweeted about earlier. We came into here, and I said as it came back down, it was like right here. Right as it was coming back down past this level right here that we set. So hold on. When I saw it come down below that right there, I was like, all right, it looks like we got a rejection. So obviously we popped up here, closed back down. We came down below here. Now we're kind of looking like we're coming back in to retest, and then we're going to get rejected on this. If we get rejected at 70, that's probably going to be the early shoots of alt season. We won't really get rolling alt season until we drop below the 66 level in my book. And then we'll be kind of, those are good, safe entries. But we can have some early entries up here. Now, back to the interaction. Now, so I think the initial early part of alt season is going to be driven a lot by what Ethereum does. Now, we saw Ethereum. Now, I've been saying this. Another thing, the reason I'm bringing the fire tonight is I've been saying once we break this 620 level, right, and actually break out, we're going to get to the 800 fast. 833 is coming quick. Now, we paused here at 700. You can see right there a little wick up. There's a little bit of resistance there. We'll fiddle with it for a little bit. But 800 should be coming pretty fast on Ethereum. And I did in my last live stream, I did call out an entry right here. So that turned out to be a pretty good entry for those who took it. You guys get the credit for taking it, but you know, it was a pretty obvious one, right off that 620 line. Let me get back. Let me refocus my thoughts here. Any other questions or comments? So, where do I want to go next? Now that I did that open soliloquy, let's talk about. So, one other thing about last cycle. I do want to. We talk about last cycle a lot, and I'm gonna pull up the Ethereum. Let's do ETH USD on this one. Talk a lot about what happened last cycle. One other thing I want to point out is it wasn't so clear last cycle that Ethereum was going to lead in this space. Now, it seemed like it. They were kind of they had the early mover advantage, but it wasn't 100% clear that was going to be the case. What on earth? Oh, this is all in percentage. All right. What is going on? What do I do with my charts? Oh, that's why. All right. So last cycle, this is what I've been waiting to see if we're going to get. Now, I don't know that this is going to happen, but obviously we had this sell-off here in Bitcoin. That's when Ethereum popped. The problem is, last cycle, one other thing I want to bring out, I've been saying this a lot, and I don't think this is going to happen exactly like this. Well, I think this cycle is going to be a lot different. Last cycle, we barely went above the prior all-time high. I tested it, solid rejection, back to the prior swing high. Got above it for a little bit, got rejected. But we only got above it a few percentage. But this next sell-off is when Ethereum started really pumping. Now, this is the Ethereum USD price. So as Bitcoin's price is going down, Ethereum's price versus USD was going up. Now, again, at the time, people thought of Ethereum as silver to Bitcoin's gold, right? So they thought of Bitcoin as digital gold and Ethereum as digital silver. People didn't understand that Ethereum wasn't a currency per se; it was a platform. And so, you know, this cycle, I think they're going to figure that out. Nonetheless, I've been waiting to see if we get this type of a thing. Now, the sell-off, I think, will be from above the all-time high back to the all-time high this time. But you see the move that Ethereum made, right? And that was sometime after. I mean, it was several days after Bitcoin took the prior all-time high. So we're pretty much on cue for this ramp to begin. Whether that is a corresponding Bitcoin sell-off or not, I think is to be determined. Let's go back to Bitcoin here for a second. Let's talk about where we're at in Bitcoin. So we've obviously overtaken the all-time high by a larger margin than last cycle. I mean, this cycle has been so much more robust in its move than last cycle. It's clear that we're setting up for a bigger move this whole cycle. A 30%, Jordan tweeted this earlier, Jordan from Conquer Trading and Investing, tweeted this earlier that from that prior all-time high back to this, from our new all-time high back to, let's get rid of the percentage in the log, back to the prior all-time high is about 30% sell-off. So, you know, that'd be pretty good symmetry if we hit this mark right here and then sold off and tested the prior all-time high and then resumed off of there. That'd be a really nice little opportunity, the absolute last opportunity to add at a good, decent price here. Well, let me go to my comments. Brandon, BTC dips will stay. Good evening. BTC dips will stay, continue to influence alts, especially ETH. A dip will pull ETH down lower percentage. Thanks for the like buttons. Yes, thank you for the like buttons. I think BTC volatility is a bigger risk to ETH. Satay, I'll agree to disagree. We'll see what happens. I'm going to show you something. Let's go to the 1 hour here. Earlier today, when was this? Look at this. We had this sell-off All right, I just want you to take note of this. From 28,387, whatever it was, let's say 28.4, Bitcoin hit, sold off 9%, right? And then we've started to recover. Now let's go look at Ethereum USD. From this peak right here, Ethereum actually started to ramp. Right when Bitcoin sold off, Ethereum ramped. There was an inversion. Now let me show you that on the ETH BTC. Right here. ETH started to ramp. So what happened was people, like I said, took money. So this is from here to here. We went up 18% intraday. People, and this is ETH versus BTC, people took funds from Bitcoin. These small sell-offs may result in a huge pump in alts and in ETH. As people literally, like this very well might have been somebody that was holding, not just somebody, but a handful of people deciding to diversify across crypto. I think these small sell-offs are going to result in moves versus for alts. Because that's funds that flow out of Bitcoin into alts. I think you're going to see this, but look, I mean, this is the biggest indicator. Right here at this price bar, it was, so if you look here, 27 December, 11 o'clock, and let's go look at ETH BTC. When did that pump? 27th, 11 o'clock was when the sell-off happened, and then boom, those funds rolled right in the next 4 hours, 5 hours, 6 hours into Ethereum. So Ethereum actually pumped right here. There's 11. There's a sell-off, initial sell-off in Bitcoin. Ethereum touches the prior this swing high, this 620 key 620 level, went slightly below it, and then an hour later, or what was this, 2 hours later, Ethereum pumps like pretty big, right? And that's while BTC was selling off. So Satay, I appreciate your comments, and I think that's what most people think is going to happen. But the reality is that small, controlled sell-offs and healthy consolidation really is what this is. And Bitcoin is going to start to result in alts pumping because people are going to diversify and move their money to other cryptocurrencies and not into fiat, I think. So I think this is going to continue to happen. And we look here at the BTC dominance again. As BTC dominance, it peaked up here and dropped. If we get rejected here, which this is a really hard level to break for Bitcoin dominance, right? We haven't been sustainably above here since, I mean, this peak doesn't, no, that's not sustainable, right? This little thing, September, it says 2019. We haven't been above here since the 2017, yeah, since 2017. So we'll see what happens. I'm waiting for our first inversion. I'm waiting for a decent controlled sell-off in Bitcoin at some point. I mean, it could be at 35,000 back to 28, or it could be right here at 28.4 back to 20,000 or so, and that type of a sell-off to cause the alts to pump because that money's flowing, into alts. You look at Ethereum here again. He's looking like, look at this. So let's go back here. I want to show you one other thing. Bitcoin fought with this prior swing high, touched it, right? That created that swing high. But we were messed around below here and consolidating. We had this little breakdown, hit these trend lines, and then took off. And then we touched we fought a little bit. You know, you had, if you look at the amount of consolidation that happened here before this swing high, it consolidated a bit, and then it took off, took out that swing high, consolidated above the swing high, and then went and did all this fighting with the prior all-time high, and then broke it and took off. All right, and now look at this takeoff. Since it broke this swing high right here, consolidation up, fought with the prior all-time high, and broke out massively. Now, playing follow the leader, is that so difficult to see Ethereum doing the exact same thing? Look how clear it is. We'll go back to the 3-day. Look how much little resistance there is. We're in an area now akin to Ethereum breaking that, Bitcoin breaking that 13.5 level, right? So we're going to fight a little bit with 700, probably consolidate here, and then boom, 833, consolidate there. And assuming we break through 833, it's going to be a quick stop at 988 or 980, a very quick stop at 1226. If we do even stop there, and then it's going to be fighting. What we're going to be looking at is Ethereum to do exactly what Bitcoin did. There's a lot of space. There's a lot of space between here and there, and it's going to move there fast. So now that we're above this, we're in the low resistance area. It's going to move there fast, like Bitcoin did. Right? Probably. Now, I don't know that, but that's what I think is going to happen. And so look for this to move pretty fast here. And that's going to kick off alt season, really, in a big way. If you look here, look at this wick, the daily wick. Look at the 3-day wick on Bitcoin. Look at the 3-day wick on Ethereum. Bitcoin. Ethereum. You're going to start to see more and more of that. I promise you. Curious for that inversion too. 70% BTC or 75% BTC. Very curious. Yeah. Numbers mean for Bitcoin dominance. So sounds good. Bitcoin dominance this is the total percentage. You can read it right here. Market cap BTC dominance percent. Okay. This is the total percentage of the entire cryptocurrency market cap. So if you look at coin market cap, the global cryptocurrency market cap is $722 billion. Bitcoin dominance is if you just take Bitcoin's, which is $500 billion, $500 billion market cap, and you take the percentage of Bitcoin's market cap to the rest of the entire crypto. And so TradingView does a chart for all these, so you can look up like Ethereum's dominance too. I don't have ETH. That's not as interesting to look at. But you look at ETH. So Ethereum is 11% of all of cryptocurrency. So at its peak up here, it was like 30%, right, of all cryptocurrency. So it's down to 11%. I think the more interesting chart to watch is ETH BTC currently, because that's what everybody. That's the Bitcoin's the reserve currency for cryptocurrency. Another small point, the ETH BTC. You look at the historical levels, right? So ETH has achieved right now. It takes it's 0.03 Bitcoin per Ethereum. There was a time, very briefly up here, when one Ethereum would buy you 0.15 roughly Bitcoin, or in other words, it would take what is that? Like seven. My math is 5, 6, like 7 or so. 7 Ethereum to buy 1 Bitcoin, and right now we're at a level where it would take, I think it's over 30. It's like 40 or something, right? So this is the trade I'm wanting to focus on right here. Is when we break out of this little local downtrend we have, and we clear some of this resistance we've got ahead of us on the ETH BTC chart. This is why I don't think you're going to see big moves until early next year anyway. But it's interesting that it lines up with when people get back and start, looking at what's going on in cryptocurrency, and maybe moving their money around. We get out of all this stuff. This move from say this is a pretty safe level where we take this break out of this downtrend and retake this uptrend line right here, right? So from here to here into here, I'm going to take profit in here somewhere depending on price action. I'm just going to watch price action, and we'll be talking about it a lot on these live streams as to what we do if we get up here, right? If we don't, we'll have a different thesis. We'll have a different play, but this is going to be a dynamic playbook that unfolds. My thought is we're going to get up into this area, and based on price action, I plan to take at least some, if not all, profit while we're in this area. But that's a humongous move, right, from where we're at today. So if you've got, and I'm trading this 5x leverage on Kraken. So as soon as we get off of here, I'm actually going to be transferring some more Bitcoin to Kraken, some real Bitcoin. I have just a small amount on there right now, and I've been doing small trades to kind of figure the platform out. But now that I feel comfortable with it, actually as soon as we get off here, I'm going to transfer more over. But I want to be in a good 5x leverage position for this move, right? And taking most of my profit right here, and or taking profit and watching, and this is going to be a much riskier trade up in this area. If we do get up there, I really want to focus on this area down here. But that 5x leverage trade just can help me build more satoshis, right? And that's really the trade I'm focused on right now. But if we can capitalize, if we can capture this move out of here into here, that's that's double or triple, that doubles or triples Ethereum's valuation versus Bitcoin if we get that move. 1 second, guys. And so if we get that at 5x leverage, I mean, you can take, say, 1 Bitcoin, if we get a triple move 5x leverage, right, and turn that into a bunch of Bitcoin. I don't want to do the math in my head right now, but I mean, it can increase your satoshis by a lot if we capture this move. But we have to play it carefully and safely, and we have to be patient. Like, I have a tiny trade on. Like I said, I was underwater here a little bit. But what I want to do is I want to get back in. I did a bottom. I initially was doing some bottle fishing. I think I bought over here, and I got stopped out at 0.25. And I bought back right below 0.25, like 0.24 before I bought as we were coming back into here. But these are tiny trades. Don't think I'm I'm more of a messer around with Kraken. But when we get out of here, and this area is where I'm going to be looking to take my big positions and put on my the actual real trades, and try to capture that move. Because if we can get that move down, 5x leverage on Kraken, and it will be I'll be watching several pairs, right? So how long have we been streaming here? I may have to chop this up. I had planned to talk about a lot more tonight, but it looks like it's already 8:50. Yeah, this has been a pretty good session so far. Does anybody have any questions or comments here? Curious that, yeah. Let's talk about, I think, so I was working on my CTM 101. Y'all see that? Yes. And I was going to do some work with you guys on this here. We've been going, my little soliloquy took a lot longer than I thought it was going to take. So I'm going to, I'm gonna split this up and we'll talk about this more. This Friday, so just for you guys on here, thanks Henry. This Friday, at the next live stream that we do Friday afternoon, we're going to start up the Crypto 101 workshop. So I'm going to make it the first Crypto 101 session. So I'm actually going to go through this slide deck, have it put together, and we're going to go through it for the first time. And it's going to be a very high-level overview. But what I want people to get out of it is, and myself too, I'm learning as I put this together. So don't think like I just know all this off the top of my head. I'm researching and put this together too. But why is this all spaced out? I don't know. Sorry, bear with me. But we're gonna run through this Friday. And I've been doing a lot of research, and I think I'm gonna have some really good information for myself. I've had this general thought that in the cryptocurrency landscape, there's outside of Bitcoin, right? There's platforms, which are these are the most valuable projects. I mean, at the end of the day, these are the things that make this is like, platforms are like the equivalent of the internet. And then you've got utility tokens, right? And utility can be huge still. I think of like Google as a utility. It can be still monstrously huge. But it's not the platform that it's built on, right? And then there's obviously DeFi, which is more akin to legacy finance. And so there's some very big legacy finance companies, but again, nowadays, their legacy finance isn't as big as like Google and Amazon and so forth. And then decentralized exchanges. Again, think of in the landscape of upside potential, a decentralized exchange can be a big and can move a lot. But I mean, it's like trading platforms are not nearly as valuable as Google or Amazon. And then currencies and Dash, LTC, XMR, BCH. I think you guys understand that. In my head, this is how I've had it in my head. Now, there's a lot more for us. Also, EPTC seems to be. I'm gonna read these comments in a second. There's a lot of other, verticals that we can talk about within utility. I've got Lincoln here as a utility, right? The whole Oracle landscape could be considered a whole, vertical, a whole category, and we'll probably have an Oracle category here. But for now, I'm going to lump it in with utility just so I can talk. I'm going to keep it as general as possible to help people understand this, and then we'll dive into all right, we'll have an, maybe in a crypto 102, our second session, we'll talk more about some of these. Like Link is actually an Oracle, platform, and some of the Oracle platforms. And what Oracle platforms mean, it's providing information to and from the blockchain, basically. All right, let's take a look at some comments here. Nope, always appreciate your TA. And Marcos, I'm always trying to improve my TA. So if you guys, please let me know too if you have any comments or if I'm missing something or you guys think that I see lots of other people's TA and I go, man, I missed that pretty big. So, but thanks for that. I appreciate that. Can you go over supports for BTC? Seems to have bounced off the prior resistance. Yes, let's look at that. A little early on ETH. Me, CB. Yeah. I was early. My trade. If you're talking about my trade that I put on here, yeah, I put on a trade at like 2.4. Yeah. So I got stopped out at 2.5, and when it dropped below 2.5, and I saw it bounce off of this line, so I was watching on a really low time frame. And just checking my phone, really is all I was doing. I saw it get below this, and I was like, oh, that's not good. And I saw, okay, then that big spike happened. I was like, all right, we're back in business. And when we took this 2.4 level right here, that's where I put back on my trade. And this was not a CTM entry. Like if you guys are in Conquer the market, it's not a. This is a different type of entry. That's purely when you're in trading, when you're trying to do accumulation for long-term positions, I mean, just buying off of bottom supports is something pretty common to do, right? And then if it drops below that, drops back below that as you're buying with momentum back up, it drops, just get out at like 2.2, right, or something like that. And so for me, it was worth placing a small trade here. So yes, I was very early on that small trade. I won't put a big trade on until we get up here, though, just to know that. BTC CEL for a DEX. Yeah, let's see where it's at on the list. One other thing I want to talk about, another topic for another day maybe at this point, because I'm going to have a bad time tonight. Another topic for another day is why I'm focused on trading the, where they at? The trading the top like 20 or 50. And I'm not so much into trying to pick altcoins right now at this juncture. Is because this inversion that I'm talking about, this flow of money from Bitcoin into alts. I think it's going to be much easier to capture the meat of that move by playing the bigger players. Now, as the cycle goes on, later in the cycle, that's when we're going to be looking at like new projects or very small projects that could pop. For me personally, but right now I'm focused on trading the main ones. 27, number 27 on the list. Let's see here. So if we go to right here, if you go to, they don't have a list for DEX exchanges, do they? Let's see here. Celsius is 27. It deserves to be on the list. Thank you very much for that comment, Chi. I agree. Uniswap, it's bigger than Uniswap. Wow, I did not know that. They moved 12% recently. I did not know that. Oh, well, there you go. I learned more than you guys do, I promise you, from doing this live stream and everything. All right, very good. I'll put it on there. I'm gonna actually mark that. Chi, your little icon here is kind of orangish. I'm gonna make it like. I'll pick that green color you got there. I'm trying to remember that you gave me that. No, not that. You called that one out for me. All right. Let's go to BTC levels. Somebody asked about BTC levels. Here's my levels on BTC. Jordan had 27.5. I don't know where he got that from. I don't have a trend line there. Maybe he had a trend line. Hold on. Let's just try to figure out. Jordan's better at TA than I am. So let's see. Did he have? Was he like down here maybe? 7.5. Yeah, so he had to be, so he keyed in off of, he had a trend line on these touches here, which I did not. I didn't bother to put one in there, but if Jordan had one and that's where we touched and it worked, I'm going to copy him. Jordan from Conquer Trading and Investing, for anybody that know. He is the best tech TA, he's provided the best TA to the Bitcoin cycle from in 2020 and beyond out of anybody. out there. All right, I'm gonna put another. I like that touch right there because there's some. And then maybe we put another line in here just for general. Get away. That's what's messing me up right now. That's stupid. That's a bit. I mean, yeah. All right, and then we're getting into like there's not much left up here to work with. Those touches right there, good ones. All right, so I did not have those on there before, but let's go see what happened here with the price action. So it came into. Oh, did we just copy those two trend lines that we just put in there? There you go. So yeah, Jordan tweeted out this morning, 12.5, and sure enough, or 17.5, like yesterday, like right here, he tweeted out something like 17.5, and boom, I hit 28, shot above it. Now we're coming back into it right now. I mean, so I haven't been doing a lot of work. Basically, when Bitcoin broke out like this, I just haven't been paying it. Like my base account's in Bitcoin, so frankly, I just don't care what Bitcoin does anymore. I know it's going to go up, and I don't care if it goes down 40% even. Like I don't care. My whole base account is in Bitcoin, and all I care about right now is getting more Bitcoin. Right? Trading versus Bitcoin to get more Bitcoin. Like I don't care what the price does. This is my way of staying detached too, because I seem like I'm not looking at my account value in US dollars going up, because it helps me be detached. It helps me be more logical and focused, and that's also another just a small psychological edge why I'm so focused on trading these alts. Is because I'm no longer looking at my account value in US dollars, and I don't lose my sense of discipline. I'm trying to get more Bitcoin. So right now, all I know is how many Bitcoin I have, and I want more Bitcoin. That's all I know, right? I don't care what the price of Bitcoin is, other than it's moving the price of some alts that I happen to hold, maybe. But this is what I care about right here. What are my alts doing versus Bitcoin? How do I get more Bitcoin? And I've been losing, right? So I'm holding these. These are my hold positions, these three right here. And then I've got VET and Engine and VXV. VXV is the only one that's up out of all of them. But all I care about is how do I get more Bitcoin? And are the other things that I've decided, the other 30% of my holdings, they're not doing well. So for me, like I'm not doing well because I'm losing Bitcoin, right? Because I'm holding 30% of my crypto funds in these three right here. I'm losing Bitcoin as far as I'm concerned, and I want to trade for more Bitcoin. So that's what I care about. So but yeah, I haven't done a lot of work on the Bitcoin chart because we're obviously in breakout mode, and I just don't really care what it does. Yeah, so NFTs and yield farming. Yield farming would be DeFi in my book. So is Adam in the wrong place because of that? No, that's utility still. But yeah, so for me, yeah, so yield farming would be DeFi. It's a form of DeFi, I think, for the most part. And then NFTs, it depends. Yeah, I mean, it depends on the project they're attached to. I noticed ETH did not drop as much today when BTC dropped and then quickly rallied against BTC. Yeah, Henry. I don't know if you saw the open of the session, but yeah, so if you look on a 1 hour time frame, Bitcoin dropped right here, right? And it was really on my chart, yeah, so right here, the 27th of December at 1200, right? 1200 time is when Bitcoin made its big drop. Now, look at Ethereum. At 1200, so Ethereum was here. At 1200, Ethereum little down, little up, and then 1300, Ethereum went 13 to 1400. What happened to Bitcoin at 13 to 1400? Bitcoin dropped and then consolidated, and then dropped some more at 20. And then Ethereum at 20, I think it ended a leg up. Let me see if I'm right at that. No, Ethereum went down with it. But nonetheless, this is the main thing to watch. ETH BTC, you see this right at that big Bitcoin sell-off, the 1200 sell-off. This is when Ethereum finally got a big leg up versus Bitcoin. That's money flowing from Bitcoin into Ethereum right there. What that was. That's a 1 hour. Let's go to a 4 hour. But you see what happened, right? So we retook these levels. So this was I said this the other day. People were freaking out. I said this is going to end up. This is more likely, and I don't know because I can't see the future. This is more likely than not going to be a buy the dip opportunity on all these names. So this is likely a buy the dip, and I actually have some USD, so I have some more funds, available because I have other income sources, right? So I took some more funds this morning, and I bought Link on this support. And this is I sold a bunch of my Link at 16. I never fully refilled my position. I bought back to 1230 is my last buy, I think right here. And I just bought some more this morning at 10 something, below 11, whatever it was. Are there algos trading this? Yes, there are algos trading this. Brandon, what platform, in all caps, what platform do you trade on in TradingView versus the broker? All right, hold on. I bought ETH on your advice. Yeah, good job, Henry. You bought ETH. That's on you. Good job. Can you overlay the ETH chart? Oh yeah, we can do that in a second. You're looking at any of the precious metals. How does silver look? Yes, I'm a silver guy. I have silver. I have silver bullion. I have a little bit of silver and some SLV and equities accounts. What's it been doing? I'm bullish on silver. I think silver's. I'm more bullish on silver than I'm on gold because of the industrial use cases and the fact that gold doesn't get used like what silver does, and so gold is increasing 2% year on year. You can hear Michael Saylor go on about this, about how gold's actually a very poor store of wealth for a long period of time. Now silver, interestingly enough, if I recall based on my research, now don't quote me on this because I haven't looked at anything very, very recently, but based on my research, the silver supply is dropping every year, and we're actually kind of precipitously low on silver because of the industrial use cases, and the industry uses silver. And solar panels, speaking of the Biden administration, solar panels use a lot of silver, amongst other things. So there's a lot of industrial use for silver, so I'm very bullish on silver because of that, because the supply is decreasing rather than increasing. And so I've been in silver very strongly. I bought a bunch at 14 right through here. Both bullion and SLV, and I've been sitting on SLV in my equity accounts. I've sold. I did trim some here, and I haven't added it back. It's all on Bitcoin. So I trimmed. So this trade in SLV, the ETF. Is SLV an ETF? Whatever. I think it is. I sold some here, bought Bitcoin with it, and otherwise I've just been holding on to my silver. As far as silver trades, I mean, it's crypto's the trade right now, so I'm not really paying attention. Silver looks great. Look at this. Broke this trend line, broke above this key kind of resistance. This is where we had kind of flagged before and then broke down. So if you close like actionable, a daily close above here, we see this. We haven't closed a daily above this level since the sell-off. A daily close above here would be bullish. You can buy purely on a daily close above there if you want to. 120-day SMA, it retook that. This would have been a buy. So if I'm long-term, buy above the 120-day SMA when we retake that. And then, you could buy on a close above this because you're going to go up. You're likely going to ping-pong around because of this resistance here. But you can buy on a close above there, buy on a CTM resumption out of here. You got this resistance to deal with. But, in my book, daily closes above key levels. Those are entry signals too, and then daily closes above key SMA lines are also entries. So a lot of entries on silver right now. Gold probably. Oh, look at this. Speaking of, it's fighting with the 120-day SMA. Daily close above the 120-day SMA is an absolute stellar entry on gold. Look at you look at a lot of these things trade pretty well around these longer term SMAs. The reason I use the 120 and 200 and the 50, I'll add the 50 and the 20 in here. The reason I use those and the daily, especially the 50, the 120, and the 200, is because that's what institutions watch. I mean, it's just as simple as that. Big institutional players, that's what they watch. They watch those those SMA lines. So that's what they're watching, and that's what they're waiting for interaction with that to move their money around, and I'm going to use the same things they do. It's that simple. Sorry, what I meant to say was, what broker do you use? Okay, Carlos, I use a lot of brokers, way too many. I'm I've consolidated. I was playing around it, so I used for day trading. I used Thinkorswim for a long time, and then I started using Webull because I wanted a web platform that was more portable that I could use on any of my computers pretty easily without having to have Thinkorswim installed. That was for equities, but I've moved all to Fidelity. I've got a bunch of stuff in Fidelity, so I've moved all my equities back to Fidelity because I'm not day trading. I'm purely position trading, buying, selling for long term. So I just look at the charts and then I go place an order on Fidelity. Just using the web UI, not even the Fidelity Active Trader. Fidelity Active Trader is actually okay, better than Webull, frankly, but Webull's getting there. Webull's pretty decent actually. As far as trading for cryptos, which is probably more what you care about, I've used all kinds of stuff. I started with GDAX a long time ago, and then it was Coinbase Pro, and then I moved off Coinbase Pro to Binance. Actually, I might have been on Binance and GDAX at the same time. I was. But I've had Binance for forever. Now, I've consolidated down to Gemini as my primary on-ramp and off-ramp. So that's where money goes to go on to the crypto space and out of. And then I store on, if I'm going to store non-custodial, or if I'm going to do custodial storage, it's on BlockFi to get the interest. And then, frankly, anywhere that I can do a custodial, I can hold it myself on a hardware wallet or something and stake it. Obviously, that's what I do. Then I trade now on Kraken because that's the only place I can get leverage. So my trades, when I talk about trades, like these open trades right here, these are all on Kraken. All of these symbols in my chart that are in purple are Kraken. They're available on Kraken. So these are the ones I'm going to be focused on with you guys throughout the alt season and looking for setups. Because these are available to me on Kraken. These are the other projects I'm watching that are available on Binance, but I've kind of had to get my funds off of Binance because of the fact that I'm in Texas and Binance US isn't available there, and I just don't feel comfortable. I don't know if they're gonna lock my account at some point. So, who else do I use? I mean, yeah, I recommend. Frankly, my recommendation is Gemini if you're looking for a simple, straightforward. And you just want to trade like the main pairs, and then Kraken now. Those are the two main ones that I use for crypto now. I don't like Kraken. I like Binance's UI better than Kraken's, but whatever. I don't understand Link, so I haven't bought it. What's your take on the risk from Link from the XRP lawsuit? Zero risk to Link from the XRP lawsuit directly. Indirectly, I want to do some more research on that myself. I'm going to flip this to red on BNB while I'm looking at it. I'm going to do some more research on that myself. My understanding is Link has done some equity raises similar to how XRP has done it, but Link has been a lot more transparent when they do that. When the equity raises, it would make it a security. Well, when they sell tokens to the market, they've been a lot more transparent that they're using it to fund at something specific, and it stays within the ecosystem. It doesn't leave the ecosystem. So unless what's his name, the founder? Oh my goodness, the founder of Link. I think I would know this better. Is it Brian? Right? No. Anyway, unless the founders of Link are pocketing money from the sale of tokens to the market, then it's not a big risk. I gotta go make sure that's not happening though. So, we're gonna sign up for a Gemini. Oh, cool, Carlos. Yeah, I mean, so my family, I've got a bunch of my family buying cryptocurrency. I told them all, just go buy Gemini. Yeah, funding. So Vern, that's why I use Gemini. So I send my fiat to Gemini. I buy ETH or USDC, the stable coin, and I transfer that over to Kraken. Pretty simple. Lately, because my whole base account's in Bitcoin, I've actually done on-chain transactions from Bitcoin because I don't feel like trading it to ETH or USDC to send it over and then trade it back. So I've actually started doing some Bitcoin trade, moving around via Bitcoin. Sergey, that's it. Thank you. My goodness, I cannot remember Sergey. Yeah, unless Sergey's pocketing a bunch of money, which, you know, if he is, that's a big risk. I don't get the sense that he is, though, because what I've read before, they're a lot more forthcoming with when they do sell tokens, what they're using it for. All right, on your BTC, okay. There's a lot of comments here. I'm trying to keep up with. On your BTC daily chart, look at the drawing line, BTC daily. Look at this is Dave Bacon here, drawing a line from the high on November 5th to the high on December 16th. Extend that line to see the CTM play. November 5th. The high to November 16th. Right there. Yeah, so I had a duplicate line already. The high of December. Wow, I was way off. High of November 5th. November 5th. This one right there to December the 19th. It's a super parabolic trend line you got going on there. Alright, so we'll take this right there. Okay, yep. We got like an uber parabolic trend line. I gotta draw this back down here though. Super parabolic trend line. There you go. There's another CTM entry on BTC. I mean, yeah, if you're not already in BTC and you're looking for more entries, then yeah, there's yet another one that I think you should. I mean, Jordan was screaming it, and I personally, remember, if y'all remember, I was talking a lot, you know, about, oh, I'm still waiting. I said, and I did that live stream, that I was dead wrong. I said we were coming back to here. I thought, I didn't, you know, wasn't 100% certain, but I felt like we were coming back to test this prior swing high. We never did. I went fully back in at 18,230 right here. Yep, so I went back in full at 18,230. I think it was actually the first time we went above here, and then I rode down a little bit here. But right here, I was fully back in because we had made a series of higher lows. At the same time, we were making higher highs, and I just saw that as a clearer indication the market was not wanting to sell off anymore. Institutions were indeed putting a floor under it, and I was indeed wrong. And so I got back in fully. And so, I don't know, if you're looking for another entry, there you go. Yeah, I guess. All right, but great. I'm going to sign up for Gemini. Okay, sorry. Silver broke the 20s. Might be ready to run if it closes above that. Yeah, I think silver's probably going to make a big move. I said I bought at 14. So this is, again, me telling my friends and family to buy. I had them all buy a bunch of bullion down here. And they were all thinking about selling up here. And I said, nope, do not sell. We're going, I did some fib numbers on this. I think I came up with $200 or something crazy. But yeah, I think we're going $200 silver. Well, 5 years, 3, 4 years from now. But that's where I think we're going. And I didn't think we were going to sell off. I mean, I actually, selling to 20 is no big deal, right? You make a move from 14, where we all got in, to 20 to 30, and sell off to 20. Yeah, I mean, with bullion, that's really like that's not enough of a move to bother messing with. All right, Coinbase seemed to be the most expensive. I think Coinbase Pro is not really that bad, but I think it is more expensive than a lot of this. Coinbase, if you just use straight Coinbase. Okay, another thing, for people getting on Gemini, I need to probably be more clear about this. I'm sorry. There is Gemini and there's Gemini Active Trader. Do not trade on Gemini. It's terrible. It's like using Coinbase and not Coinbase Pro. The fees are outrageous. If you just use like the mobile app on Gemini and like try to buy and sell like the mobile app, you have to sign up for Active Trader. So you have to move enough funds in. I don't know. You have to request Active Trader. I don't have any clue how long it takes to get Active Trader or anything anymore, but I think my brother got it set up in just a couple of days. Moved some funds over, requested it, and but you need to use Active Trader because it's far less fees. It's a lot less. Using the mobile app or whatever is horrible. Same thing with Coinbase. If you're going to stay on Coinbase, use Coinbase Pro. Pro.coinbase.com. Do not try to buy and sell with the app. they'll kill you. All right. How are the fees on Gemini in comparison to Coinbase? Fees are fairly low on Gemini. The lowest fees in the industry are Binance, as far as I know. Kraken is based on volume. When you have a lot of volume with Kraken, it does come down reasonably. But I think Binance is the cheapest, but I could be wrong. I don't trade that actively on the higher time frames that we trade on. I'm not like in and out of it. So for me, the fees don't really matter a whole lot because I'm trying to take advantage of much bigger moves over longer time frames. Swing trading. So I honestly am probably the worst person to ask about fees because I want the best experience and I want the best tools, and because I take less trades and do it over a longer period of time, I don't really care about the fees too terribly much. They haven't bothered me anyway. Funding in Kraken is so convoluted. Yes. Do you see that risk as a short-term headwind for Link since most people don't understand it? Yeah, sure, Henry. Yeah. So, yeah, I'll be much more cautious about putting on a big trade. Like I'm waiting for ETH to show me and put on a big trade versus ETH. These small trades I have, ADA and ETH are and the Link trade I have is teeny tiny. But yes, it is a short-term headwind as people figure it out, and it could be. I mean, it could end up being a real thing. I need to research it. I have my HODL position. It's the smallest of these three, and I'm just otherwise long-term I don't think it's a big risk. All right. Just email Gemini support to enable active trader. Okay, thanks. Well, thank you, Chief, for that. Okay, so everybody just email Gemini support for Gemini active trader. That's what you need to be using. I'm waiting for Pax Silver on BlockFi. Yeah, that would be awesome, huh? Pax Gold's still pretty cool, though. Do you recommend buying SLV ETF? Yes, Henry, that's the ETF I use. I did a bunch of research on it, and I don't remember all the reasons why I came to the conclusion that I should be trading. And we haven't even looked at Forex. We're gonna have to not look at Forex tonight. Oh, well, nobody's trading Forex this week anyway. I was gonna skip it. SLV is the one I use. I did a bunch of research on it a long time ago. I forget all the reasons I have. I did a bunch of pros and cons of the different ETFs, and SLV is the one I came up with. Don't remember why. I want that BlockFi credit card already. Yeah, that's gonna be cool. We can we can spend some of our funds without losing our actual BTC. Of course, when you store your BTC on BlockFi, it's not your BTC. It's theirs that they owe you. It's an IOU for BTC. So that's the one cool thing about self-custody and putting your BTC on a hardware wallet. It's yours. It's not the custody's. And it's not the exchanges. But anyway. All right, guys. I think I'm going to try to wrap up here. We've talked about a lot. I hope the the clarity on where we're at with the altcoin cycle. I hope we can gain some clarity together on this. But yeah, this is the main thing to watch. I mean, if I were to put it as simply as this, did we get a daily close? We got a daily close below. So we never got a daily close above that 70. So that's something really important to keep a track of, right? So what's BTC? Is BTC making a move? We never got a close above this 70 key level on the BTC dominance. So that's a bit of a rejection so far. We'll keep an eye on this. A resumption down is going to tell us something straight up. But the more important thing to watch is the individual charts, right? So let's look at our daily. Yeah, it's this trend line I had here. We closed below it, opened below it, but closed above it. This is our last daily close. It's above these two, so that's why I have these marks as green on ETH, BTC. And the summary of it is, the gist of it is, this is the meat of the move I want to take advantage of, and this is why we're talking about this so much. But yeah, thanks everybody for joining. We will talk to you. Friday is my next scheduled live stream. If something crazy happens, we get a big sell-off, or we get a big sell-off in BTC and all the alts go crazy, something like that, I'll go live as I can for those events. Otherwise, I might do another late night or two this week, probably Wednesday or Thursday. And otherwise, I'm gonna work on some other regular videos this week too, just on some other just general thoughts I have across the market. But yeah, we'll wrap up the stream here. I'm gonna light up the music. Our friends at Daemon Gaming TV